With the Wisconsin Supreme Court suspending a judge accused of helping a man evade federal immigration agents, Milwaukee County Circuit Court Judge Hannah Dugan was arrested last week, accused of ushering the man through a side door away from agents. He was later taken into custody.
And we are back, and we're back, y'all. Thank you for watching today. Go ahead and hit that like button, peepo. You know that it helps us out a ton. And of course, it helps you because it helps us. Now, y'all, late breaking news. You know that judge in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, who the Trump administration arrested for obstructing justice as it relates to an undocumented migrant? Remember, that was just a few days ago? Well, the Supreme Court of her state of Wisconsin has now put her on leave. They have deactivated her as a judge while this entire thing plays out. Now, in case you're not totally familiar with what we're talking about, let's get you up to speed. Let's just take a quick little look at exactly how we got here.
Meantime, some Republicans are also asking if Judge Dugan should even keep her job. The Wisconsin State Assembly Speaker posted on X saying these are serious charges and it's important to remember no one is above the law. We are reviewing the situation, and if the charges result in a conviction, we will act. Judge Dugan's decision to hide a dangerous and illegal immigrant was irresponsible and put public safety at risk. Now, Judge Dugan is facing obstruction charges after investigators say she helped an undocumented migrant evade ICE agents in the courthouse, then forcing agents to chase him down the street. The Mexican migrant was in court facing battery charges, and he's been deported before. DHS Assistant Secretary Tricia McLaughlin stresses this guy is far from innocent.
American people should know what the charges against him were: strangulation, suffocation, battery, other domestic abuse charges. This is no innocent guy.
So this judge, Pam Bondi, came out very forcefully and said that this judge was not only obstructing ICE in doing its job, but like actually hiding and shepherding this undocumented migrant, right? Shepherding him from place to place in the courthouse so that he could evade and avoid ICE detection. And they arrested her for that. But now the Supreme Court of her state has said, as you can see here, it says, you are hereby notified that the court has entered the following order. It is ordered in the exercise of this court's superintending and administrative authority over all courts in the state that Milwaukee County Circuit Court Judge Hannah Dugan is temporarily prohibited from exercising the powers of a circuit court judge in the state of Wisconsin, effective the date of this order and until further order of the court. And y'all know people are freaking out over this. Y'all, what is it? What is going on right now where you have people who are coming out on the side of criminals? Like, I thought that the domestic abusers, I thought the people who were hurting people, who were committing crimes, who were gangbangers, who were terrorists, I thought they were like public enemy number one. But now you have people coming out and defending them.
Activists are also pushing back on Judge Dugan's arrest. Protesters gathered in front of the FBI office just outside of Milwaukee on Saturday, demanding the FBI drop the charges.
We are out here today with a message for the FBI, for the DOJ, for President Trump himself. And that message is, drop the charges, stop the raids, stop the deportations.
And Judge Dugan was released from custody on Friday and is due back in court on May 15th.
It's almost like kind of a weird movie where you get a person like Trump, a divisive figure like Trump. Think about a movie, right? A divisive figure like Trump. And he's so divisive that his opposition has to take the other side of every issue, even to their own detriment, even when what he's saying is so plain common sense that everybody would agree with it, but the opposition just has to take the other side. It's almost like we're living in a twilight zone. So the Wisconsin Supreme Court suspends Judge Hannah Dugan after federal charges. The Wisconsin Supreme Court has suspended Milwaukee County Circuit Judge Hannah Dugan because she was charged with 2 federal counts of allegations of trying to help an undocumented immigrant avoid arrest after he appeared in her courtroom.
Good evening. We start tonight at 6 o'clock with the Wisconsin Supreme Court suspending a judge accused of helping a man evade federal immigration agents. Milwaukee County Circuit Court Judge Hannah Dugan was arrested last week, accused of ushering the man through a side door away from agents. He was later taken into custody. In the order today, the court says it's in the public interest to temporarily relieve the judge of her duties.
Under the Supreme Court's order, Dugan is not allowed to carry out her responsibilities as a Milwaukee County judge beginning April 29th until further order of the court. Dugan will continue to be paid her $174,000. She still won't get her 175 bones though, y'all. So I guess that's good for her. Now, y'all, other judges, at least one other judge, I'm not going to say judges plural, at least one other judge has come out in solidarity with Dugan and said, look, I might not even come to work anymore while all this is going on. Check this out.
Hi, Anita. Well, there's new fallout with one Wisconsin judge now threatening to not hold court in protest of Judge Hannah Dugan's arrest. Now, that email was obtained by Wisconsin Right Now, which is a conservative news site co-founded by State Rep Jim Piva-Verchek. The email is titled "Guidance Requested" or "I Refuse to Hold Court." It says, quote, "I have no intention of allowing anyone to be taken out of my courtroom by ICE and sent to a concentration camp, especially without due process."
And in the meantime, y'all, Dugan has retained a top conservative lawyer to help. That's kind of smart, isn't it? So a Wisconsin judge, that's Dugan, charged with helping a man in her court briefly evade immigration authorities, has added prominent conservative lawyer and leading Supreme Court advocate Paul Clement to her defense team. So it's kind of like a judge is made for this, right? She's probably, on one hand, she's probably like, I can't believe they did this to me. But she's a judge, she's a lawyer. On the other hand, she's probably like, yeah, let's fight. You know what I mean? Clement, a U.S. Solicitor General during the Republican administration of George W. Bush, has argued more than 100 cases before the Supreme Court, and he has clashed with the Trump administration in other cases, y'all. So this is actually shaping up to be a legal Royal Rumble, y'all. Oh my goodness. So I'd like to know, what do y'all think? What do you think is going to be the outcome of this? I mean, listen, we have this whole saying that's going around now. It's really popular. Nobody's above the law, right? Nobody's above the law. So the judge shouldn't be above the law. Nobody should be above the law, right? But on one hand, it's like, look, if you are doing this and it's against the law, it's against the law. But then on the other hand, it's like, ooh, it's kind of dicey once you start locking up judges, right? I'd like to know what y'all think. Let me know in the comments. But before you do, please stop, hit the share button. Share this video out with somebody over email, text message, WhatsApp, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, all your favorite social mediums, and even your least favorite social mediums. Share the video out. Also, want to thank y'all for watching. And if you're not a subscriber, please do subscribe. Love y'all, and we'll see you back in the next one.
Yeah, and to set the stage for you and Sandra, this was truly horrific. This guy was in court being prosecuted by a state prosecutor for domestic violence battery. He had beat up 2 people, a guy and a girl, hit the guy 30 times, knocked him to the ground, choked him, beat up a woman so badly they both had to go to the hospital. And John, you know, it's so rare for victims to want to cooperate. They wanted to cooperate. They were sitting in the courtroom with the state prosecutor. The judge learns that ICE was outside to get the guy because he had been deported in 2013, came back in our country, commits these crimes, charged with committing these crimes, victims in court. Judge finds out, she goes out in the hallway, screams at the immigration officers. She's furious, visibly shaken, upset, sends them off to talk to the chief judge. She comes back in the courtroom, you're not going to believe this, takes the defendant and the defense attorney back in her chambers, takes them out a private exit and tells them to leave, while a state prosecutor and victims of domestic violence are sitting in the courtroom.
So when you see these judges trying to obstruct your efforts to make this country safer, what is your message to them?
we are going to prosecute you, and we are prosecuting you. I found out about this the day it happened. We could not believe, actually, that a judge really did that. We looked into the facts in great depth. That's her picture up on the screen, Hannah Dugan, who is now in custody. You cannot obstruct a criminal case, and really, shame on her. It was a domestic violence case of all cases, and she's protecting a criminal defendant over victims of crime.